and YouTube as well. Okay. So today we're talking about personal care products, feminine care products, menstrual care products, whatever you would like to call it, and just the importance of figuring out what you're putting on and in your body every month. And we talk a lot of the times about chemicals and toxins and how we come into contact with them in so many different ways in our body and in our daily life and how they can impact our health overall. Unfortunately, I will tell you this may be a two-part one. Yesterday, I woke up with a sore throat and a cold, and I still don't really sound like myself. But this is something that I really wanted to talk to you about. So, my goal is to at least get us started on this today. And when it comes to menstrual care, many of us often don't think twice about what we use. We go to the store. I used to do this too. We go to the store and we grab the same products that we've been using for years, and we never question if they may be causing us harm. A lot of the times, I know for me in the past, if I found a tampon or if I found a pad or something that worked, that was all I cared about. I didn't want to deal with leaking. I didn't want to deal with the embarrassment of flooding in and soaking my clothes, which is definitely something I experienced as well. And unfortunately, many of the menstrual care products that are available um, can be increasing the toxic load in our bodies. And many of these products are going to contain harmful chemicals. So things like phthalates, which are endocrine disruptor or hormone disrupting chemicals, things like fluoride, which is interesting. Who would expect fluoride is in personal care products? But it has been linked to many of the common ones out there, as well as chlorine, both of which are very impactful on our thyroid, which ultimately is going to impact our entire endocrine system as well, or our hormone system as well. They also, a lot of them contain BPA or plastics. If you think about it, every maxi pad, every tampon comes wrapped in plastic, right? There's like this little plastic wrapper around it. And in the past, I thought, oh, perfect. That's just meant to keep it clean, but it's still plastic. And there's still contact with plastic and whatever you're going to put on or in your body in a very personal area. And so we're still going to absorb these plastics because they've contacted these products as well. So for myself in the past, I was someone who had really heavy periods every month. And this was before I got into holistic nutrition and before I understood that if there's anything going on in your body in terms of symptoms, like the heavy periods, like flooding periods is another way of describing it, or clotty periods, or irregular periods, or PMS, or mood swings, or hot flashes, or the list goes on and on. But if there's anything going on in your body, this is a sign that there's something that needs your support. Something is either getting in the way of your body being able to function properly. Could have been the plastics in the tampons, right? Or there's something missing that your body needs, which could be vitamins, could be minerals, could be nutrients, could be something that you're just not getting enough of. And so this is why today it's really important. I know it's really important to test to figure out what's going on with someone. Why are they dealing with the symptoms that they're dealing with? And for a lot of women, your personal care products or your period products, I just have a few to show you here. Your period products could be the reason that your body is not functioning properly. For myself in the past, as I said, I used to have really heavy periods. Like I remember when I was fairly new with my spouse now, and we went for a walk in the woods, and it was beautiful, and it was such a nice experience. And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh God!" I had that horrible moment. And if you're a woman who's had really heavy periods and ever experienced leaking, you know what I'm talking about. It's that like gut wrenching feeling of I just soaked my shorts and I'm out with this new date or recent person that I've met. And I had to have that conversation of like, okay, so my shorts are soaked, just so you know. And thankfully she was really okay with it, but it's not a comfortable situation to be in. And I know that for a lot of women, this can be result in going to the doctor and saying like, okay, so I'm bleeding super heavy every month. We need to do something. What can we do? And that's what I did. And my doctor said, okay, so we can do an IUD, which is also going to have an impact hormonally and toxic load on your body as well. Or we can do a hysterectomy, which this was before my holistic nutrition days, as I mentioned, and that's the route that I chose to go. But looking back, I now have a much better understanding of what it means to remove organs and remove things from the body. And I understand that there could have been things that I could have done differently. And this could have been part of it. So, because I was someone who bled really heavy every month, I used to use these guys, OB tampons. I used to use the thickest ones that you could get, and I'd go through like 40 of them a month. And I never looked into what was I putting in my body. And I looked these up for you today because I don't have a box anymore to look at. But one of the things that I found really interesting was that I do have a package of these, which are thin tampons or thin pads. And I looked at the package for these. There are no ingredients on this package. There's a warning because they're wrapped in plastic and that can be a choke hazard. But other than that, there is no information on this package of what it contains in terms of chemicals and toxins, which is something that, how is that okay? Is it not being really clear and really transparent of what we're putting on and in our body? I know that in 2022, there were a few, there was a lawsuit, I believe, and there was also it was brought to the forefront that a lot of these products don't have transparency in terms of what's in and on them. And unfortunately, because this is not a situation I deal with anymore, I'm not sure if it's still the case today. So I didn't have a chance to go out and research that for you. But anytime you see anything that has no ingredients or no disclaimer of what you're putting on it in your body, that's kind of this doesn't seem right suggestion or moment for me. So I did look these up as well, the OB tampons. And one of the big things I saw, they contain rayon and they contain polyester. And there wasn't a ton of description of the other things that are in there as well, but polyester is a plastic. And where do you put these? This is in an area of our body where we're going to absorb these chemicals and toxins, and plastic or BPA is a really well-known endocrine disruptor for women. So, as I said, was this the reason that I was having really heavy periods? Because I was putting 40 doses of plastic into my body. I'm not getting into more details than that, every single month. And if you're disrupting your system, it's not going to be able to function properly. So these chemicals that are in these products are going to cause an impact on your system and on your body. These ones as well, they do say something on here. Dermatologically tested scent. What does that mean? Not really sure. It means that there's a perfume in here, and perfumes a lot of the times contain other chemicals and toxins as well, like phthalates, and other things that are going to be disruptive to our hormone system. And when we have a lot of these chemicals and toxins that we're coming in contact with, this can lead to things such as hormone imbalance, which can cause a bunch of other different things. So weight gain, this can cause changes to your cycle. So irregular periods, heavy periods, clotting periods, flooding periods. It can cause hot flashes. It can cause anxiety. It can cause mood changes. It can cause trouble sleeping for people. If your hormones aren't functioning properly, it's going to impact the entire system. Our endocrine system is like a head to toe. All of our different systems, from our brain to our adrenals, to our thyroid, to our ovaries, all of the body is impacted when our endocrine system is disrupted. So if these products that you're using are disrupting that system, we're going to have other symptoms as well. So it could be hot flashes, anxiety, mood changes, trouble sleeping. It could be more. And these toxins are also linked to things like infertility. So if you're a female who's just dealing with your cycle now, but you have a plan to have kids at one time, this could be part of the reason that you may be having trouble with getting pregnant in the future. And it also has been linked to low birth weight in people who do conceive and have a baby. This is not just these. When I was researching, one other thing that I found that I never really had awareness of because it wasn't a thing when I was still a menstruating female, was the underwear. They now have period underwear for women, and like Knix, there's a bunch of other brands as well, and a lot of these have been investigated for a lot of these toxins and chemicals that are being absorbed by our system by using these as well. So what can we do to make sure to take care of our bodies while still managing our periods? Because as I mentioned, like having a hysterectomy was kind of it's a last ditch suggestion for a lot of women. For a lot of women, it's really not a good solution. So we're going to have periods. It's a normal part of life. And really, for women, this is part of the reason that the life expectancy for women is actually can be longer than men, because every month when we're shedding our uterine lining, we're shedding out excess hormones and excess iron and other kind of harmful things that have been hanging in our body as well. So in a sense, it's a little bit of a detox from the body, some bacteria. I mean, it's bacteria that's supposed to be there, but we are removing some things from our system when we bleed each month as well. So stopping periods is not the solution, in my opinion. We are meant to menstruate every single month as a menstrual age female, but we're still going to have to deal with it. So, what can we do? There are lots of options. This is the only one I have, but there are lots of options. This is called Natural Care, and this is organic cotton. It has the ingredients right on the box, which thank you, Natural Care. I'm a fan of that. The liner is made of organic cotton. There's some plant cellulose in there, and then the packaging is recycled cardboard. It contains glue because it has to have glue to hold the sticky part on the back that makes it stick to your underwear. I don't like the term panties. Sorry. So the glue is BPA free. So it's another area where we need to make sure that there's no plastics coming in contact with our system. Yeah, and that's all that's listed on here. It's biodegradable, it's plastic free, it's perfume free, it's breathable. And yeah, so these are a good option. And there are lots of different options, but ultimately the things you want to look for is you want to make sure that it's plastic free. You want to make sure that it's organic cotton, because anything synthetic is going to contain plastics in it. And plastics have BPAs in them, and BPAs are very harmful to our endocrine system. So if you are dealing with any period problems, or if you are finding that you're having any of those symptoms that I mentioned, so the changes in your cycle, the mood changes, the increase in weight, the really heavy periods, the clotty periods, these are a sign from the body that something is not functioning properly. And when this is the case, this is where we need to dig deeper and figure out why. And that's how I help people. At Align Natural Health, we test you to figure out what's the reason you're dealing with the symptoms that you're dealing with, and what does your body need to get back into balance. So I wanted to share this with you today because a lot of the research and the reading that I did, and a lot of the women that I've talked to as well, said that, oh, I didn't even think of that. And I know for me in the past, that was something too, was that I didn't even think about that. I had these, sorry, I'm going to cough. I had these stashed, like, I'm surprised I still found some because it was like 2016 when I had my, or maybe, no, 2018, still 5 years ago when I had the hysterectomy. So I don't need these anymore. But I used to have them stashed everywhere. They were in every bag that I owned. They were in my car. They were in my desk at work. They were all over our house. And it was never something I even considered. What am I putting in my body? I'm not just putting it in my pocket every month. I'm putting this in my body. What's the impact that's going to have on my overall health? So, if you've been having any of these issues, you can reach out anytime. I'd be more than happy to test you to figure out what's going on with you. But other than that, like, I'm not saying take all your stuff and throw it out and buy all new stuff. But next time you go to make a purchase and to buy tampons or to buy pads, maybe it's a good time to take a look and see if you can find something that's natural, that's BPA free, that doesn't contain perfumes, because perfume is one of those names that, like, they don't really need to disclose to you what's actually in there because it's proprietary. So there could be things in there that they're not really disclosing for you as well. So look for cleaner options. It's like one step at a time. Every little step that you can make towards cleaning things up is going to make a big difference in your life. And before I cough anymore, I'm going to say goodbye for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, reach out anytime. And if you know anyone that could benefit from this, please share it. I'd be more than happy to help if you need anything. Have a good day.